Welcome to the quiz show that demands nothing less than perfection. Behind this screen are 4 contestants who will be hoping their knowledge is flawless, because one single mistake could give the game away. This is perfection. Hello and welcome to Perfection, the quiz show where only perfect play is good enough. Behind me are the contestants. We call them the usual suspects. They're in our isolation room. In a moment, we'll find out which one of them has been randomly selected to join me here to play Perfection. They will then face a series of true or false statements. For example, if I said the pop duo The Carpenters were brother and sister, would you say that's true or false? Well, if you'd said true, I can tell you you'd be right. Answering true or false might seem easy, but if the contestant gets a single answer wrong, their opponents, the usual suspects, will be allowed into the game to capitalise on their mistakes. So, you know how the game works. Let's meet the usual suspects.
I'm Ravi, I'm from Leicester, I'm a legal recruitment consultant, and this is my first game.
I'm Lynn from Caerphilly, South Wales. I'm a retired accounts manager, and this is my second game.
I'm Steve, I'm from Wimple in Devon. I'm a flight safety technician, and this is my third game.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tenterden in Kent. I'm a travel agent, and this is my fourth game.
Welcome to you all and best of luck as we now find out which one of you has been randomly picked to play Perfection. Ravi East, you, please come and play Perfection. Ravi, welcome to the game. Well, Ravi, it's now you versus the usual suspects. They were your teammates, now they're your enemies. It's their job to stop you from winning the prize fund, because your failure will mean the prize money rolls over to the next game, where one of them could be sitting here playing for a bigger total. Now, every game on Perfection is worth £1,000. Here's the good news for you. No one won the last 8 games. So the prize fund currently stands at £9,000. Now, that is a decent chunk of money.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what would you be doing with it?
Well, I think with that amount, it's a significant sum. I'd hope to go on a nice luxury holiday with the family and perhaps give a little to charity as well.
Lovely. OK, well, look, here's how the game works. You'll play 3 rounds and then a final. Every round that you achieve perfection will make the final easier for you. However, if your performance is anything less than perfect, the usual suspects here will have a chance to step in and steal the round, making the final much harder for you. More of that to follow later. Usual suspects, we're going to switch you off for now so you can't see or hear anything. Cheerio. Ravi, when they're like this, you can talk through your answers without giving away any vital knowledge, OK?
OK.
Each round consists of 4 true or false statements. You'll be answering against the clock. You'll only have 45 seconds, and once you've given an answer, your first answer, it will be locked in. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Then let's play Perfection. Your 45 seconds start now. Human genomes are characters in Harry Potter.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I will say false.
False. Womanizer was a UK hit for Britney Spears in 2008.
I think that's true.
True. The cricket ground Headingley is in Leeds.
Yeah, that I know for a fact. It's definitely true. I've driven past there a few times.
True. And finally, tin openers were invented years after tin cans.
I'm going to say that's false.
False?
Yeah.
And with time to spare, you've answered all 4. How was that?
Yeah, fine, I think. Oh, the last one was a real stinger, but the rest...
In with a chance of perfection, you think?
I hope so, yes.
OK, well, before we reveal exactly how well you've done, it's time to bring back the usual suspects. Don't forget, they'll be able to hear you. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Ravi's answers. Sarah, has he achieved perfection?
I'd hazard a guess at D being true rather than false, because it doesn't make any sense that tin openers would come before the tin cans.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Steve, what do you think?
I think they're all correct. He's got perfection.
OK, well, Ravi, it's the moment of truth. You need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many are correct. Well, 3 out of 4 is not bad, but unfortunately it's not perfection, which means you've let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Can you steal the round? You can see Ravi's answers. You only need to change one answer, but which one?
Well, A is definitely false.
B is definitely true.
Is the year correct, though? Headingley is in Leeds.
It is.
They used to open tins with a hammer and chisel, or the hammer and bayonet. So my inclination is that Womanizer is a Britney Spears hit, but was it 2008?
What do you think, Lynn? B or D?
B, I think.
Okay, we'll go with B, Nick, then, from true to false.
You want to change B from true to false, leaving A, C and D as answered by Ravi. OK, usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. If a statement turns green, it's true. If it turns red, it's false. Human genomes are characters in Harry Potter. True or false? No, of course, that's false. It's the name given to the entire genetic material of a human being. Womanizer was a UK hit for Britney Spears in 2008. Is that true or false? Yeah, I'm afraid that's true in actual fact. Oh dear, usual suspects, you had the chance to steal the round from Ravi, but you failed to achieve perfection. But did you at home still achieve perfection? Let's go through those answers in a bit more detail, shall we? The cricket ground Headingley is in Leeds. True or false? Yeah, absolutely true. And Ravi, you were absolutely certain of that. So it can only be one. And Sarah, you were absolutely right with this. Tin openers were invented years after tin cans. True or false? That is, of course, true. And Steve, I think you've got the question the wrong way round in your head. Tin openers were invented years after tin cans.
Oh.
So in actual fact, you knew Sarah was right. You just didn't know that you knew that Sarah was right. All right, usual suspects, had you achieved perfection, you would have now had the opportunity to make Ravi's chances of winning the prize fund much harder in the final, and here's how. This, Ravi, is your final board. These 6 blank spaces need to be filled with subject categories. Here are your final round category options, starting with rich men, going through polos, The Lion King, and on to Strictly, with many more in between. Had you achieved perfection, you would now have the opportunity of adding 2 categories of your choice to the board. But because neither side won the round, the 2 categories that were due to be chosen will now be carried over to the next round, meaning there will be 4 categories on offer. Usual suspects, it's time to switch you off, but we'll see you in round 2. And away they go. OK, Ravi, which 2 will you be picking first, given the opportunity?
I think UK geography, gangsters could be a good one.
2 you want to avoid?
Butterflies, that could be anything. Not really sure. Strictly, I want to avoid that.
All right. Remember, Ravi, in order to win the prize fund, you'll need to answer all 6 statements correctly. Winning this next round could prove crucial. You ready for the next round? Then let's play round 2. Your 45 seconds start now. Barack Obama is 5'7" tall.
I'll say that's false, because he does seem a bit taller than that.
False. Lauren Bacall was 25 years older than Humphrey Bogart.
I'm not sure it's 50-50. I'm going to say true.
True. War Horse is a book by Michael Morpurgo.
Do I know the answer to this? It's not coming to me. I'm going to say false. Not sure.
False. And finally, Old Reekie is a nickname for Edinburgh.
Old Reekie. I think that's true.
True. And with that, you've answered all 4 statements with a little time to spare. How did that feel?
A lot more difficult than the first round.
Not so comfortable this time
No,
round?
no, not.
Before we reveal exactly how well you've done, it's time for us to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Ravi's answers. Steve, is this perfection?
I'm looking at B and thinking that's an awful age gap, and I do believe that War Horse was written by Michael Morpurgo.
Lynn, what do you think?
I agree with Steve. As far as B is concerned, Lauren Bacall was definitely not 25 years older than Humphrey Bogart.
Interesting, Ravi, the moment of truth. They seem to think you might have made a few mistakes. Let's find out how many are correct. 2 out of 4 this time, heading in the wrong direction compared to last round, but you did say it felt like a tougher round. You have allowed the usual suspects into the game. Can you steal this one? Usual suspects, you can see Ravi's answers. You need to change 2 answers. Which 2?
I think we're agreed on B,
Yes,
aren't we?
Definitely agreed on B, yeah.
Can we
yes.
change B from true to false, Nick, please?
B changes from true to false.
And how do you feel about C?
Yeah, I would go for C as well.
OK,
please.
we'll change C from false to true, please, Nick.
C changes from false to true, leaving A and D as answered by Ravi. Usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. Barack Obama is 5'7" tall. Is that true or false? That is, in fact, false. He's 6'1", in actual fact. Lauren Bacall was 25 years older than Humphrey Bogart. True or false? Yeah, that is false. In actual fact, Bogart was 25 years older than Lauren Bacall. War Horse is a book by Michael Morpurgo. Is that true or false? It is true, as you said, Steve, and you all know where this is going now. Old Reekie is a nickname for Edinburgh. Is that true or false? It is true. Congratulations, usual suspects. You have achieved perfection. Oh dear, Ravi, the usual suspects have succeeded where you failed and they've stolen the round. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Ravi's chances of winning that prize fund of £9,000 much harder. Let's see the final board. It's empty at the moment because no one's managed to score. And because you won the round, usual suspects, you earn the right to choose 4 categories to add to the board. That's 2 from this round and 2 that rolled over from round 1. So which 4 would you like to choose for Ravi to play in the final?
What would we like? Lynn, choose one.
Strictly, please.
Strictly goes into the final, thank you.
One for you, Steve.
Butterflies?
Butterflies goes into the final.
I'll have UK geography, please.
UK geography makes it in.
Rich men?
Yeah, we could take some rich men. We'll have rich men, please, Nick.
Thank you for that insight, Sarah. Rich Men goes into the final. Congratulations, usual suspects. You've won the second round. It's time to switch you off, but we'll see you in round 3. Well, you didn't want butterflies or Strictly.
No.
But you did want geography, so...
Yeah, it's not too bad. Even rich men. Let's see what we get.
OK, well, look, you still have one more chance to get perfection and choose your own categories for the final. It'd be nice to have 2 of your own in there.
Yes.
Ready to play the next round?
Yep, let's go for it.
Let's play round 3. Your 45 seconds start now. The cavity at the base of a wine bottle is called a punt.
Not too sure on this one either, Nick. I'm going to say false.
False. Mo Farah won the 2013 London Marathon.
Yeah, I know who he is, and I think that's true.
True. Queen Victoria wrote Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Goodness. My wife's going to... My wife would know this. I'm going to say that's false.
False. And finally, the eye of a colossal squid can be 10 inches across.
Not too sure on this one either, but I'm going to say false.
False. And with time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. How did that round feel compared to the other 2?
It felt like the middle round.
Really like a tough one again.
Yeah, it was a bit of a toughie.
All right, before we reveal exactly how well you've done, it's time for us to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Ravi's answers. Lynn, has he achieved perfection this time?
No, Nick, I don't think so. I think B is wrong. Mo Farah hasn't actually done a marathon as yet, I believe.
Sarah, can you pick any holes in those answers?
B should be false. He didn't even complete the London Marathon, but he did take part in the first half of it.
Well, Ravi, the moment of truth. Let's find out how many are correct. Just 1 out of 4. You got progressively worse during the rounds.
Yeah.
Started with 3, then 2, down to 1.
Yeah.
All right, you've let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Can you steal the round? You can see Ravi's answers. You need to change 3 of them, but which 3?
We'll start with B, shall we?
Yes,
We'll
we'll
change
start
B
with
from true to false, please.
B changes from true to false.
I have a feeling C might be true. I think I remember seeing
Yeah,
it on
and
a
I-
programme. So we'll change C from false to true, please.
C changes from false to true.
I would go for D.
OK.
That's
And we'll
correct, so.
change D from false to true.
And D from false to true, leaving A as Ravi answered false. So, usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. The cavity at the base of a wine bottle is called a punt. Is that true or false? Yeah, I'm afraid it's true. Usual suspects. You could have achieved perfection, but you failed on this occasion. I wonder whether you can still achieve perfection at home. Let's look through the rest of those statements and answers. Mo Farah won the 2013 London Marathon. True or false? It is false. And in fact, you're absolutely right, Sarah. He took part in the London Marathon. Queen Victoria wrote Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. True or false? I'm afraid that's false. It was originally a poem called The Star by Jane Taylor, in actual fact. The eye of a colossal squid can be 10 inches across. Is that true or false? Yeah, that one's actually true. You wouldn't want to meet one in a dark alley. OK, usual suspects, had you achieved perfection, you would now have the opportunity to make Ravi's chances of winning the prize fund about as difficult as they could be, but you didn't. Let's have a look at the board. 2 blank spaces still to fill. To fill those blank spaces, you'll take it in turns to choose a category. So, Ravi, as a single player, you get to choose first. What would your only subject category that you will choose for yourself for the final be?
I will pick gangsters, please, Nick.
Gangsters goes into the final. Usual suspects, please choose a category you think will trouble Ravi.
I think maybe Christmas, because Because I love Christmas.
Oh, go on.
Go on then.
Have Christmas, please, Nick.
And Christmas goes into the final on the basis that Sarah loves it. OK, we now know our 6 final categories. They are Strictly, Butterflies, UK Geography, Rich Men, Gangsters and Christmas. Usual suspects, it's time to switch you off for the final time, but very well played. Ravi, they chose Christmas. I mean, we all know something about Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. That could be good or bad. You know,
Yeah,
let's see.
that wasn't so bad, really, was it? In Gangsters, and they chose Geography for you, so yeah, you've got a half a chance there, haven't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Ravi, for £9,000, it's time to play the final. Ravi, this is the all-important final. If you could achieve perfection, you could be leaving with a prize fund of £9,000. If you fail, you'll be leaving with nothing, which is great news for the usual suspects, as one of them could be playing for a rollover of £10,000 on the next game. Let's play the final round. Ravi, here are your final 6 categories. You must answer all 6 statements correctly if you want to win the £9,000. Think carefully. There is no time limit, but once you've given an answer, your first answer, it's locked in. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Nick.
Then let's reveal your first statement. Please tell me whether you believe it to be true or false. Strictly. Robbie Savage was on Strictly Come Dancing.
There's quite a few sports people have been on Strictly. Was he on? I'm going to say true.
True, okay.
True, yeah.
Butterflies. Sensors on a butterfly's feet help it to taste.
This is another question which is a 50-50 for me completely. But I will take an educated guess and say that's true.
True. UK Geography. The most easterly point in the UK is in Scotland.
Not too sure about this. I'm going to say false, Nick.
False. Rich Men. Carlos Slim has a net worth of $1 trillion US.
It's a lot of money. I'm going to say false to D.
False. Gangsters. Bugsy Siegel's real first name was George.
I wish I didn't choose this topic now. Something tells me it's true.
True.
Yeah.
And finally, Christmas. Puritans in the mid-1600s tried to ban Christmas.
Goodness, this would be a complete guess as well. I would say that is true.
True. And with that, you've answered all 6 statements. Those answers are now locked in. Remember, if there's one single mistake, you leave with nothing. Which ones are you unsure of?
F, possibly even C, you know.
F and C, maybe.
Yeah, F and C maybe.
All right, let's bring back the usual suspects to see what they have to say. Usual suspects, you can now see the final 6 statements, and next to them are Ravi's answers. Ravi, your answers are now locked in, and you can't change them by yourself. But if you think you've made a mistake, you can unlock the board with the help of the usual suspects. This will, however, come at a cost. Usual suspects, I'm now going to ask you to tell me how well you think Ravi has done, if you want to help, and if you do, how much it will cost him. Ravi, who would you like to hear from first?
I'd like to hear from Steve, please.
I can see one that, at least, that I'd be suspicious of. I'd perhaps come down for 6,000.
That's interesting. So, for £6,000 of your £9,000 prize fund...
I don't think I've done that badly. I might come back to you, Steve. Let's hear what Lynn has to say.
I'm not quite sure. I think you've done pretty well, but I think there might be 1 or 2 that I'm not really sure on. So I prefer to wait and play my own game, if you don't mind.
Let's hear from Sarah as well.
I'm really not confident on 3 or 4 of them, so I don't think I'd be any use to you, but the best of luck.
Thank you.
Right, OK, so we are back to Steve and his offer of taking 2/3 of your prize fund. What do you think, Ravi?
So, I mean, I'm prepared to offer you 4,000.
No. 5.5?
My final offer would be 4.5, which is halfway, 50-50. 4,500 each.
No, thanks. I'll take my chances on the next round.
OK, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
You happy to go it alone then, Ravi?
It's fate. Let's see.
So it seems that negotiations are concluded, Ravi. £9,000 at stake, 6 answers away. Let's find out if you've achieved perfection. All right, well, let's start at the top, shall we, and make our way through, Ravi. Robbie Savage was on Strictly Come Dancing. It rang a bell, so you went with true. We need this to turn green to get you off to a good start. Is it true or false? It is true. Very well done. So, sensors on a butterfly's feet help it to taste. Now, you said it was a bit of a 50-50, but an educated guess. So you went with true. So is it true or false? We need it to turn green. It is true. Very well played. The most easterly point in the UK is in Scotland. You said this was false. If you're right about this, it will turn red and you'll be halfway to the money all on your own. Is it true or false? Well, it is false. Very well played. Lowestoft-Ness in Suffolk, in actual fact. So here we are, 50% of the way towards the money all on your own. OK, D, Carlos Slim, has a net worth of $1 trillion US. You said it was false. You thought that's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. We need this to turn red. Is it true or false? It is false. It puts you slightly closer to the money. As of March 2013, he's worth $73 billion. Now, the next one, E, is the only one you chose for yourself. Cool, that could be interesting, couldn't it? Let's do the next one instead, F first, shall we? Puritans in the mid-1600s tried to ban Christmas. You went with true in the end. It sounded like the kind of thing they might have done. Puritans in the mid-1600s tried to ban Christmas. You said it was true. If this turns green, you are just one away from the £9,000. Is it true or false? It's true. So it's down to the only subject category you chose for yourself. You chose gangsters. Bugsy Siegel's real first name was George. You said this was true. If it is true, you walk out of here with £9,000. However, if this turns red, you'll have tripped up on your own category, the only one you chose, and the money will roll over for the usual suspects. Bugsy Siegel's real first name was George. You said true. You need this to turn green. Is it true or false for £9,000? It's false. His real first name was Benjamin, in actual fact. Well, that's a great shame for you. But a fantastic game. You must be very proud of that. 5 out of 6.
Not too bad. Yeah, it just shows that until the final comes, anything can happen, really. So.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right. Usual suspects, great news for you. The prize fund rolls over to the next game where one of you could be playing for a total of £10,000. OK, Ravi, you failed to achieve perfection. I hope you enjoyed playing the game, though.
Yeah, I did.
You've been a great contestant. Let's hear it for Ravi, everybody. Right, it's now time to meet the next usual suspect, hoping to play perfection today. New usual suspect, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Callum. I'm the owner of an ice cream company, and I'm from Reading.
Lovely. Best of luck to all of you as we now find out which one of you has been randomly picked to play perfection. Sarah, it's you. Please come down and play perfection. Sarah, welcome to the game. You have an unusual sort of hero, Mary Poppins.
Yes, I always wanted to fly. I have the umbrella, but it doesn't work.
Does it not?
No.
But are you practically perfect in every way, as you used to say?
Well, we shall see.
Well, yeah, we're about to find out. OK, well, Sarah, it's now you versus the usual suspects. They were your teammates. They're now your enemies. Here's the good news. As nobody won the last 9 games, the prize fund currently stands at £10,000. What would you be spending the money on?
Travel, probably, although my dad would like me to move out home as well.
So would that money go towards getting yourself a place of your own?
Yeah, probably. Some of it.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? All right, then. Listen, 3 rounds and a final to come. Usual suspects. We're going to switch you off for now so you can't see or hear anything, but as soon as Sarah makes a mistake, you will be back in the game. Cheerio. Are you ready?
I am.
Then let's play perfection. Round 1, your 45 seconds start now. Lara Croft is the heroine of the Tomb Raider series. True or false?
I'm fairly certain that's true.
True. Leave Right Now was a UK #1 single by Will Young.
He sang it. I'm not sure if it went to #1, so I'm going to say false.
False. The model Jerry Hall was born in New York.
I'll go with true on that one. I'm not sure.
True. And finally, the westernmost point of mainland Europe is in Ukraine.
Ukraine's landlocked, I think, so that's false.
False. And with time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. How was that?
Not too bad.
All right, before we reveal exactly how well you've done, it's time for us to bring back the usual suspects. Don't forget, they'll be able to hear you. So, usual suspects, these are the 4 statements, and next to them are Sarah's answers. Steve, what do you make of those answers?
I think Sarah's got B wrong. Leave Right Now was a #1 for Will Young.
Callum, can you see any mistakes here?
Yeah, I'd agree with Steve, B, and also I'm not sure on C.
All right, Sarah, at the moment of truth, you need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many are correct. Well, 2 out of 4 on a 50-50 game is not so good, really. Unfortunately, you've let the usual suspects into the game. Can you steal the round? You need to change 2 of those answers, but which 2 usual suspects?
B, definitely, yeah.
We'll definitely change B, Nick, from false to true.
B changes from false to true.
I don't know the answer to C, that's why I was saying C.
Well, she's Texan.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll change C from true to false, please.
C changes from true to false, leaving A and D as answered by Sarah. Usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. Lara Croft is the heroine of the Tomb Raider series. Is that true or false? Yes, of course it is true. Leave Right Now is a UK #1 single by Will Young. Usual suspects think it may be true. Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. Very well played, usual suspects. The model Jerry Hall was born in New York. Is that true or false? It is false. She was born in Texas. You're absolutely right. The westernmost point of mainland Europe is in Ukraine. True or false? It is false. Congratulations, usual suspects. You have achieved perfection. The most western point of mainland Europe is, of course, in Portugal. Ukraine is right over in the east. Oh dear, Sarah. The usual suspects have succeeded where you failed and they've stolen the round. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Sarah's chances of winning the prize fund much harder in the final, and here's how. Sarah, appearing before you is your final board. These 6 blank spaces need to be filled with subject categories, and here are your final round category choices, starting with alligators, running through winemaking, and on to celebs with many more in between. Now, because the usual suspects stole the round from you, they choose the 2 categories, hoping to make the final harder for you to win. Usual suspects, which 2 would you like, Sarah, to play in the final?
I'm thinking sci-fi.
I was thinking sci-fi. Sci-fi, please, Nick.
Sci-fi goes into the
Horse
final.
racing as well. Horse racing.
Yeah, horse racing,
Happy
please,
with
Nick.
that, yeah.
And horse racing goes into the final. Well done, usual suspects. You won the first round. Time to switch you off. But, of course, we will see you in round 2. Sci-fi?
Not sure on sci-fi, I have to admit. I'm not really that kind of a geek.
You much of a horse racing fan?
I like horse racing.
Do you? So let's have a look at those choices. Which 2 will you be picking given the opportunity?
Probably rivers and maybe nuptials.
Rivers and nuptials, and 2 you'd be keen to avoid.
Alligators.
Very good reasons.
And Chaplin, probably.
All right, well, look, it's only round 1. You still have 2 more rounds to find perfection and choose your own categories for the final. You ready?
Yes.
Then let's play round 2. Your 45 seconds start now. From 1696 to 1851, there was a tax on windows. True or false?
True.
True. Sophie Kinsella writes the shopaholic novels.
I've never heard of those, so I go with true as well on that one.
True. The word spa comes from the Belgian town of Spa.
That sounds reasonable. I'll go true on that as well.
True. And finally, Maradona played for Spurs for 3 months.
Football. I don't know anything about football. He may well have done. I'm going to go with true.
True. And with a little time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. Took your time over D, quite rightly, as you had a bit of time to spare. What do you think?
We shall see.
Well, before we see, it's time to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these are the 4 statements, and next to them are Sarah's answers. Lynn, how's she done this time?
Well, I think she's done very well. I wouldn't actually change anything myself.
Callum, can you see anything wrong with these answers?
Personally, I'd change D from true to false. I just refuse to believe Maradona played for Spurs.
All right, Sarah, the moment of truth. Let's find out how many are correct. 3 out of 4 is certainly better than the first round.
Practically perfect.
Practically perfect, but not quite perfect. You failed to achieve perfection, and you've now let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Can you steal the round? You can see Sarah's answers. You need to change 1, but which one?
D, yeah.
D.
Yeah.
Yes, please, Nick. We'll change D from true to false, please.
D changes from true to false, leaving A, B, and C as answered by Sarah. Thank you very much, usual suspects. Let's find out what the correct answers are. From 1696 to 1851, there was a tax on windows. True or false? Absolutely true. Sophie Kinsella writes the Shopaholic novels. True or false? Absolutely true. The word spa comes from the Belgian town of Spa. True or false? That's true as well, which means you know where this is going, don't you, usual suspects? Maradona played for Spurs for 3 months. True or false? It's false. Congratulations, usual suspects. You have achieved perfection. Maradona played for Napoli, Barcelona and Seville. Those are the European clubs he played for. Certainly not Tottenham. Oh dear, Sarah, the usual suspects have succeeded again where you failed and they've stolen the round. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Sarah's chances of winning the prize fund of £10,000 much harder. Let's have a look at the final board. Occupying it currently are 2 subject categories chosen by you, and because you won that round again, usual suspects, you get to choose the next 2 as well. Which 2 would you like?
Muscles?
Yeah.
Muscles, yeah.
I'm easy.
Muscles, please, Nick.
Muscles goes into the final, and...
What's that?
Alligators.
Alligators, yeah.
Yep, alligators were agreed on, please.
And alligators goes into the final. Congratulations, usual suspects. You're winning everything so far. Time to switch you off, but we'll see you in round 3. Well, you said you didn't want alligators, and they picked up on it straight away. Mussels?
I've got them.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I don't work them very often, but...
With 1 more round still to come, it would be really nice if you get to choose a couple of categories of your own in the final, don't you think?
Yes.
Let's play round 3. Your 45 seconds start now. Mark Wright is a star of Made in Chelsea.
And no, I think he's in The Only Way is Essex, so false.
False. Queen Anne's jonquil is a type of fish.
I think that's true.
True. The philtrum is part of the human face.
Oh, I'm really not sure. I think that might be true, actually. I think I've heard that before.
True. And finally, the Great Sandy Desert is in northwest Australia.
True.
True. And using the time very well, you've answered all 4 statements. How do you feel about this one?
Really unsettled by that one, actually, yeah.
OK, before we reveal exactly how well you've done, it's time for us to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Sarah's answers. Lynn, any mistakes there?
I'm not sure on a few of them, actually, but I would question D. The Great Sandy Desert. I'm not sure if it's in northwest Australia.
Steve, can you see any mistakes?
A.
That's the one that's worrying you, is it?
Yeah, that's the one throwing me.
All right, Sarah, the moment of truth. You need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many are correct. Three out of 4's not bad, but you just didn't make it over the line to perfection. As a result, you've let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Can you steal the round? You need to change one answer, but which one?
D's definitely correct.
D
C is
is
definitely correct. That's
Right.
this part of your face, between under your
C
nose.
is. OK, so we're looking at A or B. I'd
Yeah.
be tempted towards B, but it's up to you.
OK, on a sort of consensus, we'll go for B from true to false, please, Nick.
All right, lovely. It tended to sound a little bit like Callum's consensus rather than a general consensus, but let's go with what you're saying anyway. B changes from true to false, leaving A, C and D as answered by Sarah, usual suspects. Let's find out what the correct answers are. Mark Wright is a star of Made in Chelsea. Is that true or false? It is false. In actual fact, he appears in The Only Way is Essex. Queen Anne's jonquil is a type of fish. True or false? Yeah, it is false. It's a flower, in actual fact. So you know where this is going now, don't you? The philtrum is a part of the human face. True or false? It is absolutely true, and as Steve said, it's the little piece just below your nose. The Great Sandy Desert is in northwest Australia. True or false? It is true. Congratulations, usual suspects. You have achieved perfection. Sarah, the usual suspects have succeeded where you failed and they've stolen the round. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Sarah's chance of winning the prize fund much harder. Let's see the final board. And because you won the round, usual suspects, you've earned the right to choose the last 2 categories to add to the board. Which 2 would you like Sarah to play in the final?
How about Chaplin?
Yeah, I was thinking
Yes.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Chaplin, please, Nick.
Chaplin goes into the final.
Fungi.
Fungi, yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
yeah, why not?
Pretty
Yeah,
tough
we've got a couple of fungies here, so we'll have fungi, please.
And fungi That works better as a joke, Steve, if you use fungi. A couple of fungi here. OK, we now know our 6 final categories. They are sci-fi, horse racing, mussels, alligators, chaplain, and fungi or fungi. You can say it either way, apparently. OK, guys, time to switch you off for the final time. Chaplain.
They got it.
Hoping not for that one. And fungi.
Not keen on mushrooms, but who knows?
Who knows? Sarah, for £10,000, it's time to play the final. Sarah, this is the all-important final. If you can achieve perfection, you could be leaving with a prize fund of £10,000. If you fail, you will be leaving with nothing, which is great news for the usual suspects, as one of them could be playing for a rollover of £11,000 on the next game. It'd be kind of nice to walk away with that cash, wouldn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah. Let's play the final round. Sarah, here are your final 6 categories. You must answer all 6 statements correctly if you want to win the £10,000. Think carefully, there's no time limit, but once you've given an answer, your first answer, it's locked in. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Then let's reveal your first statement. Please tell me whether you believe it to be true or false. Sci-fi. The Dune books were written by Frank Herbert.
I think I would say that's false.
False. Horse racing. The Kentucky Derby is called the Run for the Roses.
Never heard of that. I will opt for true.
True. Muscles. The pectoral muscles are in the buttocks.
No, that's false. They're in the front somewhere, I think.
False. Alligators. It is illegal to feed wild alligators in Florida.
That sounds reasonable, and alligators are found in America, so I would say that's true.
True. Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin was born and raised in Chicago.
I remember seeing a programme on him the other day, and I think he was born in England, so I'll say that's false.
False. And fungi. Beatrix Potter had a keen amateur interest in fungi.
Yeah, I think I recall seeing drawings about it, so I'm going to say true on that.
True. And with that, you've answered all 6 statements. How is that?
I'm really not sure on the first couple of questions.
A and B are the ones worrying you, are they?
More confident on some of the later questions.
All right, Sarah, those answers are locked in. Remember, if there's a single mistake, you leave with nothing. Let's bring back the usual suspects to see what they have to say. Usual suspects, you can now see the final 6 statements, and next to them are Sarah's answers. Sarah, your answers are locked in and you can't change them by yourself, but if you think you've made a mistake, you can unlock them with the help of the usual suspects. This will, however, come at a cost. Sarah, who would you like to hear from first?
I'll start with Callum.
Some I know you've definitely got right, but then there's definitely a few there that I'm very unsure of, and it would have to be a guess from me, and unless you're going to offer me 9,900. I'm joking.
OK, thanks, Callum.
No, so you're not helping. All right, thank you very much, Callum.
Lynn, please.
I do think you've got one wrong that I know of, but I'm unsure about the others, so I'm awful sorry. I wouldn't be able to help you.
2 down, 1 left.
Steve, what have you got to say?
You've definitely got 4 right, but I think you've definitely got 2 wrong as well.
What does that mean, Steve?
It means that I'll come down for 6,000.
Interesting. He's asking for more than half of your £10,000 prize fund. He wants 6,000 to come and help you. What do you think?
Would you come down for less, Steve? 50-50?
No, I'll stick to my 6.
He does drive a hard bargain. OK, ask Steve to come down for £6,000. I think I need him.
Accept that, Steve, yep, £6,000. Lovely, for £6,000, the £10,000 prize fund. Steve, come and join us to play perfection. OK, Sarah, you've asked Steve for help. If you achieve perfection, it will cost you £6,000 of your prize fund of £10,000. Steve, you now forfeited your chance to play in the next game. This is your only chance of winning perfection. Have you made the right decision? I think we're about to find out. The board is now open. Here are your final statements. So, say hello and discuss.
Dune books were definitely written by Frank Herbert.
OK.
I have several. I wasn't sure about F. Beatrix Potter, an amateur interest in fungi.
Yeah, I've just recall seeing all her pencil drawings of animals and possibly mushrooms and things as well. So I have a feeling that one is correct.
OK.
So A, we want to change
Yeah.
from false to true, please.
Definitely? OK, we're going to change A from false to true.
How do you know on B? Are you certain on
I'm
the
not
answer
certain
on that
on
one?
B.
Is there any connection between Kentucky and
Well,
roses?
Kentucky is the bluegrass state.
Something's telling me to change it, but I don't want that to be a fatal mistake at the
No,
end.
if you feel you want to change, go for it. I'll support you.
OK, we'll change B from true to false.
You want to change B from true to false?
and then keep everything
the rest.
else
Everything
as
else
it
is
is.
staying the same.
Yeah.
OK, lock the rest in, please. So, your answers are now locked in. £10,000 at stake, £4,000 to Sarah and £6,000 to Steve. 6 answers away. Let's find out if you've achieved perfection. Right, well, A, well, you changed that one. B, you changed that one too. So let's skip over that and come back to them, shall we? So we'll start with C. The pectoral muscles are in the buttocks. You thought they were in the front, Sarah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you said false. We need this to turn red to get you off to a flying start. Is it true or false? Yes, of course it is false. Do you know what they are, Steve?
Be the chest muscles.
They are the chest muscles, absolutely right. It is illegal to feed wild alligators in Florida. Sarah, you said this was true. We need this to turn green. Is it true or false? It is true in actual fact. Charlie Chaplin was born and raised in Chicago. Sarah, you thought this was false because you'd seen in a documentary that he was born in England. So you went with false. We need this to turn red to get you halfway to the £10,000. Is it true or false? It is false. Very well done. It's believed that he was born in London. Let's move on then. Oh, no, this is interesting, because this is one of the ones that Steve talked to you about changing. He thought maybe you should change this. But in the end, you stuck with your answer, which was true. Beatrix Potter had a keen amateur interest in fungi. Well, let's find out whether you're right. We need it to turn green to get you just 2 away from the £10,000. Is it true or false? It is true. Very well done. The usual suspects starting to look a little nervous now as they can tell that you're heading a lot closer to the money. All right, we go up to the top. The June books were written by Frank Herbert. We're about to find out, Sarah, whether getting Steve down here to help was necessary or not. He's absolutely convinced that the June books were written by Frank Herbert and got you to change that to true. We need this to turn green. If it does turn green, not only has Steve helped you in the right direction, but it puts you just 1 away from the £10,000. So, is it true or false? It is true. So, we finally come to B. The Kentucky Derby is called the Run for the Roses. You said this was true originally, Sarah. Steve reminded you it's known as the Bluegrass State, Kentucky. And you decided to change it to false. We need this to turn red. If it does, you walk out of here with £10,000 split between you. If it turns green, you moved away from the correct answer and the money at the last possible opportunity. So, the Kentucky Derby is called the Run for the Roses. Is it true or false for £10,000? It's true. The usual suspects can't believe it either. They're literally in bits in there. They thought the money had gone. It means, I'm afraid, that you did not win the £10,000. Usual suspect, great news for you. The prize fund rolls over to the next game where one of you could be playing for a total of £11,000. What a great game you played there.
Practically perfect.
Practically perfect. I'm afraid you failed to achieve perfection on this occasion, which means you go home with nothing other than our thanks for being such great competitors. I hope you enjoyed at least playing the game.
Yeah, almost every minute.
Almost. OK, let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for Sarah and Steve. Well, that's all we have time for. Please join us next time when our usual suspects have the chance to play again, this time for £11,000. We've had 2 5 out of 6s on the programme today, but remember, on this show, we only pay for absolute perfection. Goodbye.